Hey everybody, Charles here. Welcome to Backroads Living. In our video today, we're going to be talking about a prepper's mindset and why so many people don't have it. So hang in there and we'll be right back. And we're back. If you enjoy our channel, I would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe to our channel, like our video, give us the thumbs up there. It really helps us. YouTube gives us more exposure when you do those things. When you subscribe to the channel, there'll be a bell icon up here. If you want to be notified when we upload new videos, click that bell icon and you'll get all notifications of all of our new videos. There's also an option that you can share with your social media outlets. Very easy to do. It doesn't take you away from the page, if I recall correctly. So any of those things that you can do, we appreciate it because it really does help us. And we appreciate you. We appreciate each and every one of you, no matter if you've been with us from the beginning or you're just hopping on board. Thank you very much. So today, a prepper's mindset and why so many people do not have it. Because there's way more people who do not prepare for their futures or do not have what I would call a prepper's mindset than what do have it. And we see it all the time when we ask people, are they preparing or are they storing food or storing things back in case of an emergency? The majority of the people answer no or have no concern. Many just don't care. And then there's a lot who just don't understand. And that's who I'm wanting to talk to today, are those of you who don't understand but still have an opportunity and will listen. You need to do like this and give me your ear and let me talk to you just a little bit today. Because there's coming times ahead of us that we're going to need to be prepared for. And we need to have a correct mental attitude about it. Not only that, but we need to have a spiritual mindset for this stuff too. Now, those of you who follow my channel, you know that I am a follower of Christ. I make no bones about that. I'm a follower of Christ as much as a leopard's got spots on it, but you can't remove that. Well, you can't take that from me. That's just who I am. That's just me. It's part of my DNA. It's who I am. But I think as much as people need to get physically prepared, they need to be spiritually prepared. But I do think that you need to be mentally prepared. I think you need to have a correct mindset, whether you are a follower of Christ or not. You need to have a correct mindset to enter into situations. And we're getting ready to enter into some situations here in the United States. I truly think that we're going to enter into some civil unrest unlike this country has ever seen. And there are those of you who are going to need to be prepared for that time. Now, again, like I said, there's some of you that just haven't grasped this yet. Now, my dad, when I was a small child, I can still remember to this day, sometimes I would be kind of foolhardy and I wouldn't be paying attention to what he was saying. And he would reach and get me by the shoulder and kind of squeeze a little. He wouldn't hurt me, but he'd kind of just squeeze a little, get my attention, my attention, and shake it just a little. And he'd say, "Listen, son." Well, I knew that it was time to listen. And that's what I'm wanting to do to you today, is I'm going to get a hold of your shoulder and shake you just a little bit and say, "Listen, son, there's things that you need to hear. And there's things that you need to get ready for. So let's get ready for them." I ran across this article. I wished I'd bookmarked it, but I didn't. If I can find it again, I'll try to remember to put it in the description later on. But I found this article that was written by a gentleman that wrote a book about preparedness. It wasn't so much survival as it was general preparedness for things that you foresee coming. And he said that the reason that most people struggled with getting prepared was called Normacy Bias. Normalcy, normalcy bias. And this is the definition of that. It is a mental state people enter when facing a disaster. It causes people to underestimate both the possibility of a disaster and its possible effects. This may result in situations where people fail to adequately prepare for disaster. Now, again, I say this in every video just about it. An emergency doesn't have to be nationwide for it to affect you. It can affect you in your community. A personal disaster. It doesn't have to be a disaster that affects the world or affects the nation. It can be your own personal disaster. And if you see it coming, you need to prepare for it. I quote this a lot. The Bible teaches that a prudent man foresees the evil and he hides himself from it. But the simple pass on and are punished. Be prudent. When you see this stuff and people's telling you this stuff, let me shake you awake a little. When you see this stuff coming, prepare yourself for it. Get ready for it. You need to be ready. There's stuff coming. Now listen to what he said here. In his writings, I'm going to get this paper if you don't care. So I'll have it a little closer to me. He said, I had heard this term myself for what seems like years, being used to describe what we have all seen dozens, if not hundreds of times in the media whenever some disaster struck. Images of people acting completely shocked that something horrible happened, even with a fair amount of advanced warning. And we see this all the time. I don't mean something unexpected like a tragic shooting incident. I mean threats that were publicly discussed. It wouldn't matter how many days the news of the impending hurricane was incessantly broadcast on all forms of media. Once it reached land and caused its predictable havoc, shell-shocked looking individuals would always be filmed, sadly walking around in a daze, looking at the destruction around them, picking up a family photo lying in the wreckage and wondering why they were suddenly without power. We see it all the time. People do this all the time. Wondering why they were suddenly without power, food, water, shelter, or protection. It is as if they never thought for a second that everything they were being warned about could happen. It was though they just, no matter how much they were told, it was just like it couldn't happen, no matter what you said to them. Well, that's where people are at today with having a lack of a prepper's mindset. They cannot foresee that something bad could happen to them because they have always been able to rely on their government to take care of them. And you and I, when we talk to other people, and my wife and I, to be honest with you, we've got to the point we just don't talk to people much about it because the people we talk to, man, they just, they don't get it. They just don't get it. This government has taught them to be weak. This government has taught everybody to be complacent when it comes to preparing for disasters. So it always strikes me as sad that these people are living through a real tragedy, but at the same time, I wonder why they didn't do anything. That's a good question. Well, the answer is normalcy bias was the answer to that question. Meaning, again, a mental state people enter when facing a disaster. It causes people to underestimate both the possibility of a disaster and its possible effects. This is the result in situations where people fail to adequately prepare for disaster. Well, we've got stuff coming, and there's going to be a lot of people unprepared. So let's try to be prepared. You and I, if we understand that, we're going to be prepared, I hope. And there are those of you out there that are still on the fence. Buddy, you need to get off the fence. You need to get off that fence and you need to get going. You need to get something done. Yeah. Time to put the the feet into motion. Take hold of the plow and get your stuff done. It's that time of day. Now, and someone asked him, said, why do you prep? And he said, I don't want to get bogged down with reasons of prepping. I think it is perfectly fine to just say, I don't want to be caught off guard in the case of an emergency. So that's a good answer right there. If people ask you why you prep, you can just tell them you don't want to be caught off guard in the case of an emergency. You don't have to go into a big, long, drawn-out explanation. You don't have to tell people your life's history about why you do this or that. You just don't want to be caught off guard. Like the lady that said, I might be making a mistake about this. I don't know, but if I am, I can eat my mistake. What are you going to do if you're wrong? You're not going to be eating anything. So, now here's the last thing he said in this, and I really enjoyed this reading, and I hope I can find it and share it with you. He said, but I recommend that everyone take a moment, catch their breath, and set aside some time to assess their situation and make the appropriate preparations as soon as possible. When the moment comes, regardless of the particular catalyst, you'll either be prepared or you won't. And when that time comes, it's too late to do anything about it then. Once it happens, it's done. It really is that simple. Don't squander your opportunity to make preparations for yourself and your family. Think about that. Don't squander this opportunity. You still have a little bit of time left. Make preparations for you and your family. Be the head of the house. Be a man. I've never seen such a lack for men in the United States as there is right now. Now, there's a lot of males in the United States, but there's very few true men left in the United States. Heads of the household. People who take charge of their family and will just work and fight to the death to preserve them and keep them. Society's destroyed men. TV's destroyed men. We've raised generations and generations of children that have been taught that comic book characters are their heroes instead of men. But anyway, that wasn't what I meant to talk about. That's just one of my little pet peeves, I guess. Men ought to be men. They really should. So let's stay safe and be prepared, okay? And we're going to read some of our comments that some of you've left, some of your comments, and we're going to go over some of these. Megan said, another good thing to stock up on is food for the dog or cat. Don't forget about the little critters. And, I mentioned that in a video last week, I think it was, when I'd gone to Walmart and did a Walmart Preppers haul. I showed you some of the cat and dog food that we had bought. And it's very important. Your cats and dogs have to have food, and they have to have water just like you do. Now, if you're fortunate enough, as we are, to live close to a stream or a pond, they can get water from that. But if you don't, then you need to get them a gallon of water a day too, just like you do yourself. If you've got you and a child, or you and a spouse and a child, and you've got an animal, then you need to get 4 gallons of water put aside each day for y'all. Your pets need water too. So thank you, Megan, for that reminder. Dwayne said, tip about water. Man, this is excellent. I get some of the most excellent comments on this YouTube page. You guys are wonderful. Dwayne said, tip about water. Your hot water heater holds about 50 gallons of water. Some more or less. Just use the drain on it to get water. Of course, you'll have to turn your breaker off so your water won't get, stay hot. Turn your breaker off. And just use the drain on your water to a little bit on your water tank to just let a little bit of water out at a time. If you're in an emergency and you can't get to water, you've got whatever size your water tank is. If it's a 30 gallon, 50 gallon, 80 gallon, whatever it is, you've got that much water on hand in your water tank. Write that down and keep it. My goodness, what a wonderful emergency tip. So Laney Bugger said, lentils are also great, cheap by the bag, and they don't have to soak or cook a long time like some beans. That's another excellent idea, lentils. Great items for your soups and things like that. Marcy said, more staples. Now, we're going to get into some of this too. More staples are short in supply. Stores are fronting products so it looks like a lot, but there are 4-foot sections, 2 cans deep on all shelves, all the same thing, like canned chili, chicken, chicken noodle soup. Walmart spread out paper plates, 8-inch in 7 locations in the paper product aisle. No heavy-duty aluminum foil to be found. Zipper bags for food is in short supply. Now this was just posted 16 hours ago. So Marcy is finding that Walmart is doing just like our Walmart. We see a lot of shelves that, what she just said, we see a lot of shelves that are fronted with stuff. And it may not, some of it may not even be too deep. It just may be stacked too high so you can't see behind it real well. And especially some of the meats and things like that. And there was a question here by Katie, and I wanted to ask the same question. That's why I copied it and wrote it down here. Do you live in a state that is going back in lockdown, or a city that's going back in lockdown? If you are, please let us know in the comments. We're trying to keep up with that. There's a lot of people on here that like to know, because some folks may be trying to travel and do things like that, and they really don't want to run into situations. Could be situations, potential. So Loretta said, as an added tip, when you buy, now here's a good tip, when you buy grated Parmesan cheese, like at Aldi's, always save the plastic shaker lid. It fits perfect on quart mason jars. I store dried beans, rice, macaroni, cornmeal, breadcrumbs, etc. in them. They can be used with the shaker or use the larger opening to access the larger contents. Another really good idea. Then listen, read through these comments. I'm telling you, there's a lot of really good ideas in these comments. I'm never, ever disappointed reading our comments, and thank you for leaving them. You keep leaving comments. I love them. Keep leaving comments. Like that stuff you see. Give them a thumbs up. So Virginia said, for your information, here in Houston, Texas, they're starting to limit the number of toilet paper you can purchase again. That was 27, well, right now that was probably an hour ago from me making this video. So toilet paper is being limited again in Houston, Texas at her store. I don't know which one she shops, but whatever it is, they're limiting it. Now Misfit said last night, excuse me, Misfit said last night I was over having dinner with my brother and sister-in-law. And now this was like last night sometime when this was posted. They worked at H-E-B Houston area, which is a large grocery store, a large grocery chain there. They said they were told that there will be shortages on Thanksgiving items such as corn, gravy, pumpkin, cranberry sauce, turkey, aluminum trays, basically all the Thanksgiving foods. Well, I was speaking to a Walmart employee 2 days ago when we stopped by Walmart. He was working in the area where they were stocking canned foods and stuff. And I mentioned to him that I felt like that one of our other readers had mentioned this, and I searched for it and I couldn't find it. And if you're the reader, please let me know. But one of our other subscribers posted this and said that, we're eating last year's beef and last year's crops. And this is 2020. And there's been a lot of crops plowed under this year. There's been a lot of beef that didn't make it to market this year. There's been a shortage of a lot of this stuff because of this CV-19 thing that didn't allow workers to be in the field to gather this stuff up. So it didn't get processed and sent out to market. And that means that if we're eating last year's crop right now, and this year's crop is going to be way sparser than last year's crop, and we're struggling already, what do you think next year's going to be like when we're eating this year's crop? Be prepared, folks. Be prepared. If you have a space to grow something, grow it. If you have a patio you can put buckets on and grow stuff, grow it. Grow anything you can grow. and put back everything you can, because there's a real good chance you may need it. So, Miss Sissy sent us her recipe, and thank you, Miss Sissy. I have mentioned that cream of chicken soup that we use with our chicken, and rice and broccoli, and it makes a wonderful meal. But she said my recipe from the can of cream of chicken soup is to use egg noodles, cream of chicken soup, and a can of mixed vegetables. And she said that makes enough for her to store in her fridge, and it makes her 5 meals to get by on. And I think that's wonderful. If you can make enough food to get you by for a few days on, to eat each day out of it, and it lasts you a while, that's great. I love to eat leftover beans and stuff like that. It seems like the longer they're in the fridge, the better they taste. That's just me, though. That's why I was raised. We ate leftovers. I've always ate leftovers. There's nothing wrong with them. I know a lot of people don't like them. I know a lot of people ate leftovers for years and years and years. It come through the Great Depression. Some of our parents didn't much care for them, maybe, because of that. But now my parents taught me that we ate leftovers. We didn't throw food out. If there was food enough left to feed the next day, we ate it. So, Julie said, I live in Louisiana, and Walmart widened their aisles. So that means less product. Now, a few years back, Walmart came into our local store, and they condensed their aisles and made them much tighter so they could get extra aisles in to put more food on the shelves. They were trying to carry more product, and it made it where you couldn't even hardly pass anybody in an aisle anymore with a buggy. So she said in Louisiana, they're widening their aisles back out. Limited choices from prior to CV19. They still have limits on some things. Even Sam's is different. There's a lot less beef, and the rice is now 25 pounds instead of 50 pounds, but the price is the same. So, something to think about. And I know every time we go to Walmart, and I've said this difference of times, every time we go to Walmart, we go to the canned meat section because we're looking for that shredded beef. Most of the time, we cannot find it. It must be that when it hits the shelf, people buy it up instantly. Either that or they're just not able to get it in much. Because we buy it when we can find it. But it's rare that we find it on the shelves. Now, America First said, the shortages are starting to show up again. Remember, if a food is missing, you might find it in another area of the store. So don't give up looking just because you can't find something where you normally look for it. That doesn't mean that they don't have it. It could be relocated. She said check the frozen section and fresh bakery section for your breads. They may have some over there. Look in the Hispanic aisle for Nido milk. The health food and bulk food section can also be a good place to find it. Canned meat. Check the Hispanic section for shelf-stable meat. Also look in the gourmet section for plates. Pasta. Look in the gluten-free section. They may have specific sections for certain things, and they may move some of this stuff over there. May not be as much of it over there as they are on the shelf, but you still might can find some of it in those areas. Baking mixes. Look in the health food section. They could be some flour or meals, things like that over there if they're out in the in the regular place. Baking powders. Look in the health food section. They may be baking powder over there. Who knows what might be over there. Now, I mentioned something yesterday in a video I uploaded, and I want to address that today. One of our readers commented, one of our subscribers commented that the only self-defense I had mentioned was those pea shooters. And I think you know what I'm talking about. And I think she's right. I don't think I mentioned anything else. But there are other methods of self-defense. And I'm going to mention them here in this video because everybody needs to have something to defend themselves with. And I know everybody don't have means to get those. Everybody may not, you may not want one. I don't know. That's your prerogative. I'm in no way, shape, form, or fashion am I telling you that you need to go out and get you one. I'm not doing that. I'm just not doing that. You do what you want to do. And but there are other means, and I had one gentleman that posted and said he had I don't remember if it was, I said gentleman, let me say commenter, because I don't really remember who it was that commented. Said they bought a ball bat, or actually several ball bats at their local thrift store for just a few bucks. Listen, a ball bat's a wonderful self-defense item, and this person said that they have wrapped their ball bat tip with barbed wire. So there you go. Tasers. Tasers are an excellent self-defense item. You can stop a potential or not necessarily burglar. You can stop a potential a person from potentially harming you with a taser if you get hold of him before he gets a hold of you. Pepper spray. That's another excellent item to have in your car, have in your purse, have on your person. They're small enough that you can carry just like the tasers. Put one in your car, put one in your purse, keep one on your person when you're out. And avoid dark places where other people can't see where you're at, or things like that. I always avoid stuff like that. Stay in light places where there's other people, and cut down on the chances of being accosted or hurt. Even a car tool out of the back of your car, you can lay it in your floorboard, lay it in your seat with you, your passenger seat when you're driving, if you have no other means. Something. Anything beats nothing, okay? A car tool can not only be used to swing, but it can be used to jab with. If you jab somebody with one of them, they'll leave you alone. Most definitely will leave you alone. Loretta said, now here's something. Say, I would have never thought of this. This is terrific. Listen to this. If you can't get to pepper spray, you say, well, I can't find any pepper spray. Well, Loretta said wasp and hornet spray that can spray 20 feet, spray their face and eyes. It will temporarily blind the person. They will have to get medical help before they can see again. Keep one handy in the house and one in your car. I would have never thought of that. That's excellent advice. If you can't get pepper spray, stick some of that in your car and in the house. That might save your life sometime. Who knows? So, I'm learning a lot from you folks. I tell you, you all have helped me. You don't know how much, and I hope that I've been able to help you as well. And one of the things that I'm hearing a lot of right now is that meat, specific meats, are getting real hard to find in the stores. Stuff like that roast beef, shredded pork, shredded beef. A lot of that stuff is just being hard to find. So keep your eyes open for it. When you see it, get it. If you've got the extra cash on you to buy it, if you've got the extra money in the bank to buy it, go ahead and get it. If you need meat, go ahead and get it. Don't wait. Don't wait till next week's allotted money for that. Use this week's on it and use next week's for what you're going to do this week. Pick up the meat when it's there. And there's some other things I wanted to find out. I wanted to ask about a little bit here. We have several people that follow us here on this channel from different countries, from the UK, from France, from Australia. It's different countries, and we appreciate you. I want you to know that just because you're not here in the United States, man, we appreciate you and we love you. We pray for you. When we pray for everybody, we pray for you included. We look at you just like you're one of us. God made a human race. Now that's what He made, and that's who we all are. Color has nothing to do with any of this. Ethnicity has nothing to do with any of this. We're all in this human race. We're all God's creation. We were made in His image and in His likeness. So it doesn't matter where you're from. We love you just the same. And we want to know your situation. We want to know your circumstances. If you're in particular states here in the United States and you're going into lockdown, let us know. If you're abroad in foreign countries and you're going under lockdowns, or you're under lockdowns currently and things are changing, let us know. We care. We really do care. So with that being said, I'm going to say God bless you all. And I think I'm going to go ahead and end the video. We've been over 20 minutes again. I try to keep them 20 to 25 minutes when I can. But some of this information is so good, I want to share it with you. And I hope that it's helped you. And again, God bless you. May the Lord keep you in His grace. And remember to always look to Him for your help. And until the next time, we'll see you in the next video.